I said, plug me in. I got stuff to talk about, damn it. I'll call out of my earbuds once a week to give you a show. That's what I do, folks. I do this show for the common man, for the people in despair. I bring this show into the world and I sell it everywhere. The simple truth lies waiting here, folks, for all of you to share. Hold on, I will take you there.
Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy podcast, coming to you live from the living room in the Big Purple Chair. Harold in the Big Purple Chair. Wasn't it Harold? I think it was. Was it a chair? I'm not sure if it was. Actually, I'm quite sure that it was not a chair, but I don't care. I'm going to say it anyway. Harold in the Big Purple Chair. We are on the phone again this week, but next week, I think I will be back in the oldest building in Hollywood. I believe I will be. I'm not sure. I'm supposed to be. I've talked to Lily, and I have not spoken to her. I've actually only texted with her, but we went back and forth, and she actually thought we were doing it this week, I think, but then it turned out that I could not, and our schedules did not mesh, and she's got business, and then there was some illness, and then there was more business on my end, and so but look, folks, it's up in the air. It's just a coin flip at this point, always. All I know is I'm in your ears, and that's the important thing, right? I think it is. But I was not sure if I was going to see Lily, and then it turned out I was not. But then next week, I'm pretty certain next week I will be in the oldest building in Hollywood. I'm fairly certain of that. I will show up. I will roll up. I will park. I will get out my key because I have a key to the building, folks. That's right. I'm important. I have a key. I just let myself right in. I don't have to knock. I don't have to buzz anybody. I just fucking mosey right into the oldest building in Hollywood like fucking Humphrey Bogart did back in the day when he was there to knock down some whore, some old trim, some young trim, whatever the fuck Humphrey Bogart liked. Whatever kind of trim that man went to bat for, he was knocking it down and just mowing a bunch of fucking lawns right there in the oldest building in Hollywood. That's how Humphrey Bogart handled his business, and I do it Bogart style. I just fucking let myself in with my key because I got a key from Lily. And I think that's mainly because she didn't want to have to keep coming down to let me in or go to the fire escape and drop a key to me. That became a debacle one time. She's like, hey, I'll just go drop you something off the fire escape. And it's one of those things that sounded like a decent idea at the time. But then I was just like, absolutely fucking not. You're gonna, because she's on the, she's way up on the top floor. So if she drops it, and I miss it, it hits me in the eye, and then I have to be rushed to the oldest hospital in Hollywood. That's not going to be fun, because I have the most dangerous key in Hollywood plunged into my eye. That's fucking terrible, right? So instead, she gave me my own key. I will walk up to the door, and I will go through my key ring, and I'll tell you this, folks, there is no shuffling around. There's no looking around. There's no confusion as to which key is the key to the oldest building in Hollywood on my keychain, because Lily went ahead and put flames on it. That's right. It has black and orange and red flames on it as if it were a dragster, as if I were going to take it out to the fucking back roads and race it for pinks. That key is a stylish key. And of course, let's face it, it's Lily. You knew I was going to get a burlesque key, right? She wasn't just going to hand me some nondescript silver key. She went ahead and put a transfer on it, a coating of some sort, and it looks like flames. So I let myself into that building, folks, and that's how I'll do it next week. I will let myself into the building, and I will go and podcast in the oldest building in Hollywood. I'm pretty sure. I haven't spoken to Lily. We've only texted. So actually, she might not even be here anymore. Holy fuck, what if she did that? What if this entire few weeks was just her making her escape? Oh my God, I didn't even fucking think about that. It's the perfect plan. She puts me off with like maybe she's sick or maybe she's got business or she's got work to do. And I just, I'm a dumb fuck. Duh, all right, Lily, duh. And a month later, I show up at the oldest building in Hollywood. Dude, maybe my key doesn't even fucking work. Maybe the flame key, it doesn't even work. They changed the locks. They shut it down. But what if Lily did that? That was her whole deal. She kept me away for like a month so she could pack up her apartment and bail and disappear and never let me know where the fuck she went. Oh my God, dudes. That would be fucking, honestly, that would be great. I want to say that it would be terrible and awful that she did that to me, but I got to respect that. That would be the greatest move of all time. What if she just fucking disappeared? What if Lily Von Stupp was the Baltimore Colts of podcasting? How great would that be? She was like the Irsay family. She just fucking under the cover of night, she got the Mayflower moving trucks, loaded them up and disappeared so she fucking wouldn't be able to fucking produce the show anymore. It'd be great. Oh my God, Lily Von Stupp is the Baltimore Colts of podcasting. So you know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to find the Cleveland Browns of podcasting to sneak in here and produce this show. Who will it be? Who can it be? Because she's left my market empty. And this is a big market. You know what? This market has supported this team for quite a long time. So I'm going to have to go steal the Cleveland market to sneak back in here. And then you know what? We win a Super Bowl in 5 years. That's how it works. I don't know if the math is correct on that. Did the Ravens win in 5 years? I don't know if it was 5 years. All I know is Art Modell won, and he shouldn't have because he was a fucking jagoff. But then again, the Colts also won, and they shouldn't have won because the Ursays are jagoffs. But let's be honest. Is there an owner in the National Football League where you're like, that's a great guy? Absolutely not. No, they're terrible fucking people. That's how they get to be rich. They drink fucking wine out of human skulls. They're terrible people, and they own fucking NFL teams. And they make their money on the fucking putrefied liquid brains of fucking teenagers. That's it. They draft these dudes, they let them beat their brains out for their entertainment, and they just collect the money, and they build their stadiums, and they make all the fucking cash. The hell with the owners. Whenever I see anybody bitching about the owners, I'm like, you are so crazy. Why is it okay for those 30 white dudes to get all the money when in reality, all of these dudes on the field are banging the hell out of one another and turning their brains into applesauce? Support the players in every sport. Everybody's like, yay, they play a game. They shouldn't get paid this kind of money. Fuck that, dude. You go play that game at that level. I'm so tired of people bitching about athletes. Nah. The college football championship game was last night, and just hearing people talk on Twitter about, you know, because the NCAA is a racket, and it shouldn't be fucking... Again, they're another organization making money on the backs of teenagers. They're selling beer. They're selling all this stuff. And these poor kids, and look, everybody's like, oh, well, they get to go to school for free. Dude, do you think those guys want to go to fucking school for free? Even the quarterback of Ohio State put out a tweet that said, hey, I didn't come here to play school. You're goddamn right he didn't. That dude did not come there to play school. He came to play football, and he played it well, and he won the fucking national title. So pay these guys. God damn it. Give them some money. You're making them eat the same fucking mashed potatoes that John Belushi squeezed out of his mouth and said, guess what? Now I'm a zit. You're going to make them eat those? These are athletes, man. Fucking train them. Give them some cash. Taking a stand against the NCAA today in an empty apartment. Look at me in lonely divorced guy apartment. I'm just coming after the fucking land barons who own the NFL teams. That's right. I'm going to tilt at your fucking windmills, baby. I'm going to climb on my broken down plow horse and come right at you with my fucking javelin. Is it a javelin? That's what they use, right? That thing that's on a joust. No, it's a joustelin? Maybe it's a joustelin. I don't know. So I sit here in my apartment, and I'm excited to do this podcast. I will say this. I ran errands today. I did a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm sitting here. Right now, my fucking bathroom sink has black sludge in it. And I'm so... Dudes, I'm just pissed. I shouldn't be pissed, but I am. I asked the lady... Well, you know, there's people who run my building, all right? There's people who own it, and then there's people who manage it. Well, the bathroom sink gets a little clogged periodically. It just does. I think it's because I'm an old guy and I'm losing my hair. I don't want to fucking guess. Yes, I do. It's because I'm an old guy and I'm losing my hair. So I asked the woman who manages the building, I'm like, dude, can you just, because what they usually do is they just give me a bottle of liquid plumber or Drano, and I just pour it down the fucking drain. And it eats away whatever the fuck is in there, and then it's good for 2 weeks, and then it starts to back up again. And it's because I think I've talked about this, the black sludge in my sink. I live in every time something happens, they're like, oh man, you live in a terrible apartment for the pipes. It's like the confluence is there and everybody's garbage disposal's empties there, and that's the problem with you. And so, dudes, I don't cook. I don't do anything in my fucking house. I barely use the sink. I use the bathroom sink every day. I brush my teeth and whatever the fuck, but I don't use the kitchen sink at all, really. I do some dishes if I heat something up, but I don't cook. I'm certainly not pouring bacon grease or anything down the fucking drain that would cause it to back the fuck up. So I asked her, I said, you know, hey, and here's why. Jill is coming today. So everything has to be right. Everything has to be perfect, folks. I want sad divorced guy apartment to be acceptable girlfriend apartment, right? That's good. So all I wanted was the sink to drain because Jill uses the sink, you know, just like I do. So I asked her to bring over a bottle of liquid plumber or Drano. She's like, well, we don't have any. She's like, I can bring it over later. I said, that's fine. So I was running errands today. I was doing all sorts of stuff. I had my house cleaned by the house cleaners, and that's awkward because then you're just like a slave owner for 2 hours. The girls were very nice, but then I follow them around. I'm so lame. And again, I guess not like a slave owner. If I was a slave owner, I'd be cracking a whip and making them do shit. But instead, I'm more of a concerned parent because I'm like, are you guys going to dust in the living room? Yes, we're going to dust. Okay. Are you going to wash the kitchen floor? Yes, we promise we'll wash the kitchen floor. Okay. Is the house going to smell good when you leave? Yes, it's going to smell good, Mike. Okay, thank you. two little Filipino ladies. And it's funny, I use a service, and the last time I used it, they sent a great team of people over. They were two really good girls. So I called to get them again, and they said, oh, well, only one of them still works for us, but she's got a new teammate or a new fucking coworker. I said, all right, we'll send them over, because at least half of them will do the job right. So she shows up today, and dudes, remember I said I'm like a slave owner, and it's awkward, or I'm like a parent, and I've followed them around. And dude, well, it's even worse. Here's why. She shows up, and she's got her new partner. Her partner was her mom. Oh, dudes, I don't. So then I got to walk around and tell like an old granny that that she missed a spot. Dude, that's no way to live your fucking life, right? That can't be good. I'm going around telling this old lady who's like, she's 60 or 55 or whatever, and she's cleaning my house because I paid. And she's with her daughter, the two of them, just this, because again, it's not like they own the cleaning company and they're staking their claim to being the best cleaners in the world and making tons of cash. No, they work for somebody as a cleaning team. They presented themselves as, hey, look, we're the mother-daughter cleaning team. And I just find that to be tremendously depressing. It was really cool of them, and they did a great job in my house, but I still had to walk around and go, hey, are you going to do this? Or are you guys going to make sure that the house smells good? And again, it's my fault. Because again, you know what I did? I won't lie to you. I cleaned the toilet before they arrived, and I washed the dishes before they arrived. I'm sure you do the same thing. If anybody's coming to your house to clean up, if you have a maid or anything like that, I did the dishes. And when I say I did the dishes, again, I don't eat here. There were 2 bowls that I had oatmeal in, and 1 bowl that I heated up half a burrito in, and then like 10 spoons from eating yogurt. That was it. But I didn't want to make them do the dishes, because I really wanted them to concentrate on the important shit, like making sure the house smelled nice, vacuuming, and fucking dusting. That's all I wanted them to do. But then a mother-daughter team shows up, and that's just fucking bizarre. Because you know what? It's just depressing, and it's the only thing more depressing is like mother-daughter porn, which is now becoming a thing. Have you seen this? I don't know if you have or you haven't. Maybe you haven't because you're a good person. I am not, so I have seen it. And I've seen it with multiple mothers and daughters. And I'll tell you this, a lot of that is phony, right? They'll say it's mothers and daughters, but I know I've seen some that is actual mothers and daughters. I don't want to say where, I'm sure you know where, if you know where to find those things. And if you're curious, go ahead and write me and I guess I'll tell you. But I've seen, like, it's all, because porn is so fucking stylized now. There's no more straightforward missionary position porn. It used to be when a girl on girl was kind of like exotic in old school porn. Like when I was a kid, you were like, whoa, those girls are like, whoa, no way. Well, now girl on girl is just part of it. It's accepted. If they don't have it, you're like, what the fuck? Where's the girl on girl? And then where's the girl on girl with the dragon dildo? Why isn't that happening? Because porn has gotten so fucking bizarre and off the charts and crazy that everybody has to do something else to try to keep your attention. So mother-daughter porn has become a thing. But now also, and this is twin porn is a thing. And it was a thing a few years ago when it started. It was twin porn, and what it was twins, because Playboy has had pictorials with twins. All right, so twin porn was a thing where like 2 twins would be there, and they would be in the same room having sex with guys or with whatever. So you were like, okay, well, that's kind of exotic because there's a couple of twins in there, and they're being done by dudes. And then they do that thing where they'd kind of hug each other, and everybody was like, whoa, racy. Hold on. You can hear people outside. Oh my God, they're wondering why I'm podcasting. Or maybe they just want to know about mother-daughter porn. That's going to knock on the door. Hey, we heard you talking about mother-daughter porn. Where can we find that exactly? But twin porn, dudes, and you know what? Those 3 words work because I've seen it. Again, because I have the internet. Jill always asks me, how do you know about that? Well, I have the internet. She's like, I think you have a different internet than me. I think maybe I do. But I've now seen like girl twins, kind of making out and doing stuff. But I've seen there's a couple of dude twins who make scenes themselves. Like they're identical twins, and they don't have there's no girls involved. There's nobody else involved. It's just the 2 of them. And they're really involved in getting inside each other's heads and every other orifice they possibly can. They are just, it's It is straight up twincest. It is twin dudes, and they're going at it. And look, and you're like, Mike, where did you find twin dudes? It was on, like, I think it was on Jezebel or Gawker. They talked about it, and then they had a clip. And because again, I hear that stuff, and I'm like, there's no way that's real. It can't be real. Even the mother daughter stuff, I'm like, that's phony. It's just a girl who sort of looks like another girl, and they pair them together. It's like a MILF and a young girl. But dude, these guys were identical twins, and they were. One of them was a 6, and one of them was a 9, and they were going at it. And I'm just like. I don't know where the market is for that. I don't know who out there is like, I would love to see two guys who look exactly the same queer off with one another, right? I mean, that just doesn't, who the fuck is at home? That's a last resort. That's when you've reached the Z's in the dictionary of porn, right? That's when you're just like, I have read everything, I've seen it all, let's do this. And I have no interest in animals, so I'm just going to see these two dudes go at it. Because it's like against the law, right? It shouldn't be done. It shouldn't be going on. It shouldn't, and it certainly shouldn't be filmed. That's the kind of shit. When that shit happens, that's the stuff you tell your psychiatrist about 15 years later when you're like, yeah, you're not going to believe this, but, and then this is why I don't go to Christmas anymore. You know what I mean? That's the kind of shit you lay on a couch and confess. You don't film it and put it on the internet for fucking everybody to see, but now that's the thing. It's happening. Let me ask you guys something. How did I go from the Baltimore Colts to twin porn? I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't listen back because it's a phone podcast, and I would have to go ahead and rewind it and listen to the entire goddamn clip. And by the way, it is a phone podcast, so we will be checking the chunk later. I don't know why I'm saying that like it's a morning zoo. Hey, how you doing? It's top of the hour. We're going to be checking the chunk. As a matter of fact, I'll check now. Oh, chunk. So I have no idea how I segued into twin porn. Do you guys know? If you write me a note and tell me. And also, by the way, I asked for feedback last week, and some of you wrote me, and you're like, hey, you asked for feedback, and I'm like, yeah, I did. So don't worry. I mean, it's not, people, I must be a jagoff, because like people are always nice when they write me a note, and they're like, hey, I don't really want to be out of line, but you did ask about this, so I'm now answering. Well, no, if I ask you, then totally, by all means, write me an answer, because that's what I want to know. So I'm in my apartment here, and like I said, I bring this woman over to fix the sink, and she brings a plunger, and I'm like, why do you have the plunger? She says, well, I'm going to plunge it first, and then it loosens up the clog, and then we'll pour the Drano and stuff in. I go, you know what? You don't have to do that. All I need to do is just pour in a bottle of Drano or liquid plumber, and it will eat whatever is inside there, and it'll be good for a couple of weeks. She's like, well, no, I'd feel better if you let me plunge it. And this opens up all sorts of shame spiral for me, because now it's a woman who's coming over to fix my bathroom sink while I sit around like a dumb fuck. It was bad enough. Look, when I had ladies cleaning my house, that was bad enough. All right. And I was able to fix it because I took the garbage out and I did the dishes and I did some things. Again, and the reason I did the dishes too is I didn't want the women to fucking have to deal. That's something I can do myself. You vacuum. You do the hard stuff. But then I got a woman fixing the clogged sink. And I'm like, dude, look, I have a plunger. I know that I could plunge it if I wanted to do that. All I want to do is let liquid fucking plumber have lunch. I just want to pour him down there and let him eat everything that's in the drain. You can come back in 2 weeks and fix it. My girlfriend's coming over. She's like, well, no, I feel a lot better if you just let me plunge it and then it'll loosen it up. And I said, all right. So we go in the bathroom. She turns the sink on. And the sink is running, and it doesn't fill the whole sink up, but then all of a sudden it starts to back up. And I said, see, it's going to do this, and then it just takes 5 minutes to drain. It's just a drag. She goes, all right, well, I'll just start plunging it. I want to get some water in here so I can actually have something to plunge. I said, you don't have to do that, but that's fine. So she starts plunging it, plunging. And I leave. I go, well, I'm not going to lurk. I walk out of the bathroom, and I let her go at it. She's in there for a good 5 minutes. And I know 5 minutes doesn't seem long, but when it's fucking plunging, and by the way, that's also the soundtrack from the twin porn. She's doing the plunging in the sink, and I'm sitting there, and I can hear it happening, and I even said to her, I finally come in, I go, look, I can do that, and I look down, and when I left, the sink was full of clear water. Well, now the sink is full of black water and sludge, and she goes, yeah, and I go, whoa, what the hell is that? She's like, oh, yeah, that's what came up. And I go, well, I just wanted to pour the liquid plumber in there. She goes, well, that's fine. It's just I loosen this up now, and it brings this clog to the top, and then we can pour the Drano in there in the liquid plumber. I said, yeah, but I've never had that in the bathroom sink. I only get it in the kitchen sink. She goes, well, it's probably in the pipes. I go, yeah, they tell me all along that this is a bad place to be, pipe-wise. Which, by the way, was also said in that twin porn. This is a bad place to be pipe-wise. That's what one brother said to the other. So she's plunging, and there's black, and I just had people clean my house. Okay, so she's getting black, sludgy water all over the bassinet and the sink. And I got my girlfriend coming tonight. I got to turn sad divorced guy apartment into acceptable girlfriend apartment, and she's putting fucking black sludge all over the goddamn bathroom sink and counter. And so I said to her, I go, hey, you just pour the liquid plumber in. She goes, well, no, it's just I got to loosen the clog up. And I go, but this has never happened in here now. This black stuff has never been in here. And she's like, well, it's just part of the pipe, so it's no problem. And she stops plunging and she's looking and she goes, oh. I go, what? She goes, well, it's not going down. I go, well, pour the liquid plumber in there or the Drano, whatever you got. She goes, well, no, now I think I've sealed up the pipe with whatever the sludge was. I said, why'd you do that? She goes, well, I didn't mean to do it. I was trying to plunge the clog. And I said, well, that's why I just wanted to let liquid plumber have lunch. Just pour him in there and let him fucking eat, and then we're fine. And she goes, well, let me see about getting the plumber out here. And dudes, you know me, all right? I'm not a fan, but I told you don't do that. I said, just pour the fucking cleaner down the sink. That's all I needed. So she walks out, she calls the plumber. He can't be here till tomorrow. And she's like, did it go down at all? No. So now I have a sink full of fucking black sludge. She comes back 2 hours later. She's like, hey, did it go down? Nope. She goes, it didn't? I said, no, it didn't. I said, why don't you just pour the liquid plumber in there now and see if it eats through the clog? She goes, well, it's not gonna, because now the clog is solid. It's all the way at the top. And I said, well, that's fine. I go, but we got to do something. She goes, well, Carlos will be here tomorrow. And I said, that doesn't help me tonight. My girlfriend's coming tonight. She goes, I can pour in the liquid plumber, but I don't think it's going to work. I said, fine, just pour it in there, please. And she poured like half of a bottle of the fucking Drano gel. And now I have black sludge cut with Drano gel in my sink. My sink is half full of garbage. And I told you so. I want to freak out. I want to lose it. But again, there's things you can't control. There's nothing I can do now. It's over. I told her in the beginning, don't do that. And she fucking did it anyway. And again, it was enough of a shame thing where I should have been fixing my own clog, but then she fucking ruined the clog. And so then I was justified in telling her not to fix the goddamn clog. What the fuck, man? Now I got sad divorced guy sink and spotless apartment, acceptable girlfriend apartment. That's not good, right? Don't answer that. You don't have to. I mean, you can. I'm not going to hear you unless you contact me. Why am I asking for feedback every week now? Do me, you know what? Yeah, I actually want feedback this time. This is really what I want. Go to my Facebook wall or Twitter or even call me if you have my number, which I hope to God you don't. But or on my email, just write right or wrong. If you don't, I guess if you're wrong, if you don't agree with me, you can write wrong. You can type wrong. You can write right. Well, you can type right. Oh my Christ! What the? Now it's a fucking. What am I, Abbott and Costello? Holy God! But who's on first? Don't write right. No, write wrong. No, type wrong. First base. It's actually third base. That's where who is, right? No, I don't know. It's on third base. Oh God, just terribly unfunny. Old comedy is so bad. I have to share this with you. I heard old time radio. And it was a show called Request Hour or something with Rudy Valley. And one of these people requested like a love duet between this guy named Tommy Carmona, I don't know. He's Bob Hope's trumpet player. That'll tell you all the fucking things you need to know about the guy. That's 4 words. Those 4 words that let you know you never, ever want to hear that guy's name or anything to do with him ever again. Bob Hope's trumpet player. And then they're talking about him. They're like, yeah, and he was very funny too. He got to do comedies. He had a handlebar mustache and he made like Popeye expressions. And I'm like, oh, that's all fucking 40s comedy in a nutshell. A guy who mugged and made silly faces and had a stupid voice and played a trumpet. Oh, Jesus, what a mess. Comedy's evolved, man. Put away your trumpet, shave your mustache, grab an iPhone and sit on a cocktail bench and tell a fucking story about Abbott and Costello. Jesus God, sludge in the sink. That's what it's all about. All right, so I was going to tell you guys some stuff. Last week we were talking about basketball, and I'm making myself get to it because, again, I usually get the bees out and we fly all over the joint, but I shouldn't do that to you this time because you're expecting part 2. Of what could be multiple parts. Perhaps there's 4 parts of the basketball story. Perhaps it'll end today. I don't know. I can't decide. It all depends on what happens when I start talking, folks. And you know, oh my God, I can talk. I'm a panic when I get going. And apparently I'm an old woman from the South. He's a panic. Not Hispanic. That would be an old woman from the West. So, folks, here's the thing. I told you last week last thing we talked about, I was cast in the movie Basketball, on kind of a fluke, kind of a miracle, I went out to extras agencies and I was noticed by a guy who went, "Yeah, this is you're what they're looking for." And then the Zuckers are like, they brought me to the set, and the Zuckers are like, "Yeah, that's the guy." And so I was cast in Basketball. And again, I wasn't in the background. I was a guy. My name was Marv Grunsky. Grunsky, for those of you scoring at home. And all I knew is I was a member of the Dallas Felons, who were the rivals of the Milwaukee Beers, which was Matt Stone and Trey Parker's team. So I was called in to work, and they told me it was like 3 days after I was cast, and they're like, "Hey, we need you on set for this." So my call time was like 7 a.m. And I was still like a late dude, but I didn't give a fuck because I wasn't going to sleep. I was sleeping the night before, and I was excited. And I woke up, and they were shooting that day. This was the first day we were shooting. We were shooting at Cal State Northridge, okay, because they were doing scenes in a locker room there for the team that had won a championship, and apparently. The movies are not filmed in sequence, obviously, so it's not like they film from the beginning to the end. They just film when they get a location available. Look, folks, there's a lot of inside baseball for you here, but the bottom line is when you watch a film, it is not filmed in a linear fashion. Sometimes they film the ending the first day, and then they go back and build around it. The Zuckers, I think, the way they do it is they just like to film and just fucking make joke after joke after joke. I think the Farrellys do the same thing. They build in jokes as much as they fucking can, like this huge wall of jokes, and then they edit and figure out what they can cut out. Well, the scene that I was filming, they wanted us to film in the locker room at CSUN, and we, the Dallas Felons, had just won the championship of basketball, so we were celebrating. So I show up at 8 o'clock, and again, I don't know what it's like on a movie set, really, but I know that I'm nobody important. I just want to keep my fucking head down and get there and do what I'm told. So I show up. And my name is actually on the call sheet. I'm not background. I'm Michael Glenn Schmidt because that's my SAG name. They didn't know it was my SAG name at the time, but that's the name I gave them because I tried to be when I wanted to be Mike Schmidt in SAG. I couldn't because Mike Schmidt, the baseball player, already has it. And then there's a few other Michael Schmidts and stuff, so I had to go with my full name. So if you see me billed in a movie or a TV show, I'll probably be Michael Glenn Schmidt. I'd prefer not to be, but I think that's what they're going to have me be. So I show up on set and I have to be there at 7 a.m. I get there like 6:45. I'm all early. I barely slept an hour, but I don't give a fuck. And I show up and they're like, "All right, yeah, you're Mike Schmidt for Marv Grunsky. Great. You're going to need to go to wardrobe and get put in your costume, but not yet. First have breakfast." And I'm like, "What?" And they go, "Yeah, just go ahead and have breakfast." So I had done extra work before. I think I told you I did a movie called Hoffa in Chicago. So I was very well versed in have breakfast if you're an extra. What that means is go sit the fuck down until we ask you to do something. Literally, it means just get out of our hair. And they might have, what I used to call it, and I still call it this, is bagels and bananas. Because on Hoffa there was always a table with bagels and bananas. You want bagels and bananas? They got them for all the extras. All the bagels and bananas you could possibly want. And I don't know if that was someone's idea of creating a fun game where guys would make a dirty joke where they put the banana into the bagel. I have no clue. All I know is there were constantly supplies of bagels and bananas on Hoffa. So I figured it was bagels and bananas for me on the set of Basketball. So I said, okay, well, where do I go? And they said, well, your trailer and stuff is over here, but here's where craft services is. So I went, I have a trailer? And he's like, yeah. He goes, you guys are over here. And now, look, it wasn't Michael Schmidt's trailer. There was no star with my name on it. But it was a trailer for guys who were on the Dallas Felons. And as I got over there, I walked in and I realized, because it was an actual trailer. Like, I wasn't sitting under a tent. I wasn't put in what they call a pen. They'll go to the pen, the bullpen or whatever, until we need you. I actually got to walk past a bunch of extras to go to the trailer. And just when I say a bunch of extras, folks, it is, you have to do background work on a movie or a television show at one point in your life, because it is just a Greyhound bus station of people who think they're all going to win an Oscar in the next 5 years. I mean, it is just this swimming pool, an Olympic-sized swimming pool full of delusion. All of these people who think they're in the business because they're on a movie set, and it's just depressing. They just have stacks of magazines and books. You know what? Fucking extra work is like jury duty, except instead of going to decide somebody else's fate, you're just watching your fate tick away. That's it. You've given yourself over to killing time. That's all. It's just a prison sentence, fucking extra work, because you just sit there and you kill. And look, I should say this. That's what all movie making is. That's what all TV show making is. It's just this march of time and with brief bursts of activity. It's almost like an NFL game. And really, when you watch an NFL game, there's a play, and then there's like fucking, a minute and a half of nothing. And then they go to commercials for 5 minutes, and they come back, and then there's another play. It's just, there's really no action in an NFL game. In an hour-long game itself, there's probably only like fucking 10 minutes of action. But you watch it, and you're thrilled, and because one good thing happens, you're like, yay, and you convince yourself that something fucking happened. Well, that's how it is on a movie set, man. They'll film stuff, and it's also repetitive. Dude, I will tell you this. They film scenes, and they film them over and over and over. And it's because they want to get them right. It's because they want to have as much tape as they can, as much footage and film as they can to go ahead and cut what they don't need and stitch together something that's useful in a take. And also, the actors feel like they're not doing their best work, or the director, whatever the fuck. It's just, it is a hurry up and wait situation. And that's for the stars and the real people. For the fucking extras, it's not even hurry up and wait. It's just fucking wait. It's just sitting there watching your fucking life drift away as you read People magazine and pretend you're in it. It's just so fucking bad. So I actually got to walk through the extras, like past them, and you get that envious look as you don't stop. You know what I mean? You're kind of walking, and they realize that you're not one of them. So part of them wants to know who you are, because everybody's craning their necks and straining to look. And then part of them is jealous about, well, who the fuck is that guy? Literally, they're like, who's he? And then they're like, who's he? You know what I mean? That's how it goes. So I got to walk through, and I went to my trailer, and I just walked in, and I'm sitting there, and it's essentially the extras bullpen, but with only one dude. I brought books, and I brought magazines, and I got to hang out, but I was just in there. And then there's another, so I'm there, and a guy walks into the trailer. And he's a tall guy. And he's like, hi. And I go, hey. I said, I'm Mike. And he goes, I'm Matt. So his name was Matt Stone. Or no, it wasn't Matt Stone. What the fuck was his name? Oh, God. I can't believe I don't remember his name. Matt, I will tell you, all right, I'll find it out. But he is one of the Dallas felons with me. He's playing a guy named Darcy. And he comes in, and we hit it off really well. And he's like, hey, are you going to go get breakfast? I said, well, the guy said to go get breakfast. What does that mean? He goes, well, we can go to craft services. And I go, we can? And he goes, yeah, we're allowed. We're in the movie. I asked. So I said, okay. So I'm trusting Matt at this point. So I walk out with Matt, and we walk back to the bullpen again, and everybody turns their head to look at us because they're fucking angry that we walked out of a trailer, but at the same time, they want to know who the fuck we are, if we can help them in the future. That's what it is, man. This is like when I used to go to the Improv on Friday nights, and it was that thing where people would look around, and they would make a decision about whether they should be nice to a certain guy or not, because they didn't know if that guy could help them in the future or not. So it was always that game of you'd be talking to somebody, and they look over your shoulder at someone, and they ditch you to go talk to a more important person. Oh, God. And I won't I won't say a name, but a friend of mine did it to me one time. I was talking to him, and then he, over my shoulder, saw somebody else who was certainly more important and more famous, and I don't know if they could help him or not, but he took a powder on me. He was a comedian that I knew, and he was like talking, and then he's like, hey, hold on. And he went and totally, hey, and started talking to the other guy, and I don't think I talked to him the rest of the night. It was actually kind of funny. He did it to me once, and also there was a woman named Tammy Pescatelli, who's a comedian. He shot a pilot. I think we used to do her on Never Not Funny. Tammy was really nice, and I worked with her on the road, but one time at the Improv, I was talking to her, and because we just knew each other from the road. We weren't friends, or it was just the thing at the Improv where you're having drinks and you're just kind of schmoozing with other comedians. And I mean, we were talking, And again, you get thrown over for the weirdest dudes, like where you're like, it's this thing where like if Gallagher walked in, people would go up to talk to him. Maybe not now, Gallagher, because I saw Gallagher at the fucking Bridgetown Comedy Festival getting high in the street, and nobody was talking to him because he's a fucking loon bag. But other comedians, yeah, well, so I was talking to Tammy. And we're just talking, and again, and she doesn't. I don't have any claim on her. We were just talking about comedy and shooting the breeze, and just kind of, and all of a sudden, Mark Curry walked in, hanging with Mr. Cooper, Mark Curry. He was in the Improv. He walked in, and I'm not kidding. In mid-sentence, Tammy turned on a heel and walked the fuck away from me. Like, and again, we weren't talking about anything important. It wasn't like she owed me anything, and we weren't great friends. I only knew her from the road a little bit, but I just happened to see a familiar face, and so did she, and so we were talking. But in the middle of this conversation, Mark Curry walks in, and she. It was like, you ever see a Tasmanian devil just fucking in the cartoons when he just spins and there's a cloud and a bunch of asterisks and all of a sudden, hi! That's what she did. She fucking Tasmanian deviled the shit out of me. I got a stiff arm and all of a sudden she attached herself to Mark Curry's hip. It was like, well, you know what? She did not want to be hanging with Mr. Schmidt any longer because Mr. Cooper had walked into the building and she's like, I'm in. So she tossed me overboard and went right for him. It was fucking hysterical. So that happened. So like on the fucking film set, when we're walking, there's guys in the extra in the bullpen staring at us because they want to know if we can help them in any way. Because it's, people want to schmooze and whatever. And I don't want to fucking talk to anybody. It's like, look, bagels and bananas, fucking get out of my way. I'm going to have breakfast. I think. At least Matt's taking me somewhere where we're supposed to have breakfast. And sure enough, we get to craft services. And there's a line. And more people are getting in line behind Matt and I. And whenever anybody would get in line, I would say, you can go ahead of me. You can go ahead of me. And I did it with 5 different people. I let people go ahead of me. And then Matt is, all of a sudden, he turns around and I'm not in line with him anymore. And he looks back and he walks back to the end of the line. He goes, what are you doing? I go, dude, I'm not going to be in people's way. I go, if these guys are actually working, like they have a job. Because it was grip guys. It was crew and producers or fucking wardrobe people. I don't know who the fuck it was, but it was people who had real jobs. It wasn't people who were sitting in a trailer all day pretending to be a Dallas fella. And so I tried to be as respectful as possible and let them go, but not realizing that I had just as much claim to being in the breakfast line as they did. But I didn't fucking know that. I just thought I was fucking hiding. So he looks at me and he goes, dude, it's okay. We're not sneaking up here. We're not crashing the line. It's okay to eat here. And I said, okay, I just want to make sure. And also, because not only was there, hey, I'm just an extra here, or hey, I'm background and I don't want to be stealing anybody's food, but there was also, I was crazy fat. So I didn't want to be the fat guy who was in line and got the last burrito and David Zucker walked up and went, where's my burrito? And I would lose my fucking job. I didn't want to be that dude. So I was trying to make sure everybody got fed and everybody got taken care of. So I just, as fat as I was, I just wanted to stay out of people's ways. I wanted to hide. I just wanted to hide. And so I let people ahead of me, but then finally Matt's like, no, we can do this. So we got in line. And I got to the front, and they had a thing of specials. So it was like eggs Benedict and eggs Florentine and all these different eggs. And then they had a breakfast burrito. So the craft service guys go, hey, what do you want? There was no judgment, and they were friendly, and they were nice. Because, look, I've talked on here before about nightmares I've had with customer service, and you go to a food truck, and people can be kind of gloomy because they're, serving food off of the back of a fucking truck. Well, craft services, their job is to keep everybody fed, and also they're happy to have the fucking job. They bid on the job. They get hired to do that. So it's in their interest to make great food and to be pleasant and happy and nice. So the guy in the craft services truck was named Dale. He goes, hey, what's going on? I go, hi, how are you? And he goes, I'm Dale. What can I get you? And I said, well, I think I want that breakfast burrito. And he's like, great, you want salsa? And I said, can I get it on the side? He goes, sure, you want potatoes? And I go, can you put the potatoes in the burrito? And he goes, oh, yeah, absolutely, that's the way I want it. He's super friendly and really nice, and I'm making fat guy requests now, and I kind of loosen up a little bit. And he goes, all right, just head down there, we'll call your name, Mike. And I walked down to the end, and I'm standing there with Matt, and he goes, that was painless, right? And I go, it was. I go, but I don't. And he goes, is this your first time on a set? And I go, sort of. I go, it's my first time on a movie set, and certainly my first time being cast in one. He goes, well, this is the way it goes. And I go, so are you like Captain Movie Set? And he's like, well, no. He goes, but I've done it. He goes, I actually made a movie. And so I'm aware of what's going on in the hierarchy. And I said, you made a movie? He goes, yeah. I said, what movie did you make? He said, it's just a short film, but it got me and my writing partner some notice, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here. Is I got noticed by some guys at this agency, and then they threw me in the mix for this, and I wound up getting cast. And I said, well, what's your short film? He goes, well, we showed it at some film festivals. I go, I know, but what is it? And he goes, well, did you see the movie Swingers? I said, yeah. And he goes, did you see the movie Sling Blade? And I said, yeah. He goes, all right, we made a short called Swing Blade. And I was like, what? Wait a minute, what? He goes, yeah, it's a fake trailer for a movie called Swing Blade. So basically it's the character Carl from Sling Blade, but he's in Swingers. And I was like, dude, that's actually that's really smart. That, because again, they were two big movies and do different kinds of movies at the same time, and to put them together, again, I don't think that way. And so, and also, but I'll be honest with you, I'm like, he got me breakfast, so of course I'm going to think whatever the fuck he did is genius. I'm not going to lie to you. So I'm like, because part of me is just like, oh, you made a film parody, good for you. But at the same time, I recognize that there was something about that film parody and it got him the fucking job. So who the fuck am I? What the fuck? Honestly, I'm 5 steps away from bagels and bananas. I got to respect a guy who got a fucking movie made and got noticed from it and got signed to an agent because of it. So, and he was also a great guy, and he got me a burrito. That's all I needed, is he got me a burrito. So I'm in. Me and Matt are in. What was his name? It wasn't Matt Stone. Now I'm going to look it up. But the thing is, I can't. God damn it. And by the way, that'll show you how close we are now that I don't even remember his fucking last name. So then they give me this breakfast burrito, and I go and sit down with Matt, and we sit down with all the crew and all the producer type people and stuff, and we sit down there, and everybody's smiling and laughing, and nobody, because I kept waiting to get thrown out. And I guess I'm waiting for that pretty much everywhere I go at all times. But certainly on a movie set, I just didn't think I belonged there. But we sat there, and everybody was great. And then a couple more guys sat with us. They were players for other teams. And then they sat down, and they're eating. I should tell this fucking story. So, because I'm not gonna say their names, but these two dudes came in, and they were players for the Miami team, and they sat down with us. They had breakfast, and they sat down with me and Matt, and they're like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" And we said, "We're Dallas Felons," and they said, "Oh, well, we're on the Miami Tropics, I think was their name or whatever." No, that's from Will Ferrell's ABA movie. God damn it, folks! This was 1998. Give me a break. So they were from the Miami team, and they sit there, and it's like, it might have been the Miami Coke Lords or something, or Coke Spoons. So we're eating breakfast, and we're talking, we're just shooting the breeze, and we're like, well, what's your schedule today? I don't know, what's your schedule today? And an assistant director comes over and says, excuse me, who are you guys? And see, I fucking knew it. I knew it. I knew I wasn't supposed to be there. I knew I wasn't supposed to be eating a goddamn burrito of on top of everything else. I shouldn't even be in the fucking building, because I'm me. I'm fat. I'm just nobody. And now I'm eating a burrito. So I'm eating like a studio paid for burrito. So I'm waiting for fucking Michael Eisner to come and kick me off. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. The Zuckers are going to drum me out. And this guy, he comes over, the assistant director, and he goes, excuse me, who are you guys? And I immediately started to stand up, because it was like, you know what it was? It was like sneaking down to seats that aren't yours and knowing that they're not your seats, and you're just waiting to get kicked out. So I was just waiting to get fucking kicked out. So Matt and I are sitting there, and I go to stand up, and Matt goes, we're Dallas Felons. And the assistant director is like, oh, okay. What's your names? And Mike and Matt. And he looks at the other two guys. He goes, and what are you guys? And they were like, Miami, whatever. And he goes, why are you guys here? He goes, well, we're on the Miami team. Because, yeah, no, you guys, you need to be over there. You shouldn't be here in craft services. It turns out that the fucking Miami dudes, they were Miami dudes when Miami was needed, but when they weren't needed, they were just fucking extras. So they kicked them out of craft services. Like, they even made them leave their food. They made them get up and walk away. And it was just this weird walk of shame. And they're doing the walk of shame that I thought I was going to have to fucking take. And I'm just looking at the table because I'm mortified that these two guys are getting drummed out. And I don't know who turned them in. I don't know what the fuck happened, but they had to leave their food on the table and walk away because they were extras who somehow made their way into regular craft services, and they got banished back to bagels and bananas. Those two fucking idiots came over and tried to get eggs Florentine. They tried to get fucking eggs Benedict, but you know what, dudes? You're just bagels and fucking bananas. Get the fuck out of here, man. Is what I would have said if I was the person with the clipboard. But I wasn't. Instead, I'm me. So I sat there and stared at my burrito and wouldn't look up because I didn't want to get discovered to be the fraud that I was. Really, I wanted them not to even look at me or say anything. I just wanted to sit there kind of silently and let everybody go away. Because I'm so deathly afraid of fucking it up. So I'm just on eggshells because and it's so weird, man. I don't know if I'm just used to fucking things up and so that's why I don't want to fuck things up, or because is my fear of not fucking things up causing me to fuck things up? I have no idea. Trying to figure this out about myself. But I do know that I'm sitting at that table and Matt and I, we have our heads bowed like we're saying fucking grace over craft services because we don't want to look up and see these dudes get fucking jumbled out of the goddamn room. So they put up a little bit of a, hey, we're SAG, but it doesn't matter. The person with the clipboard's like, you got to get lost. And they finally get chased. And, we're surrounded, like I said, by crew members. And there's also one dude, I don't even know who he was. He looked mean. And he's sitting there eating. And he's fucking bald with like a goatee. And it was weird. He even amidst the room, like when you walked in, you saw him. He looked like he looked like a pro wrestler is what he looked like. He just had a bald head and a fucking soul patch, like weird goatee. And we sat down with our breakfast and he was by himself eating. And, so he was there, and then all the crew was there, and everybody's eating, and Matt and I, again, we're frauds, so we're just sitting there with our heads bowed, and the assistant looks at us and says, you guys, and we're like, yeah, and says, you're felons, right? And, I mean, initially, I didn't know what they meant. I mean, I did, but just the word felons is different. Again, I'm feeling weird about being there anyway. Does she mean that we stole our way in to eat here? I get no idea. But Matt immediately figures out she means Dallas Felons because that's the team we're on. And so but there's that, it hung in the air for it seemed like forever because I was just waiting to get fucking booted. And Matt goes, yeah. And she goes, oh, okay, you're both Dallas Felons. And Matt's like, yeah. And I go, yes. I didn't even want to talk. And she goes, okay, enjoy your breakfast. Even with the pause to freak me out even more. I don't know if she enjoyed freaking me out. I have no clue. All I know is she's like, okay, looks at the clipboard, enjoy your breakfast, and just fucking walks off. So I looked at Matt and I'm like, oh my God. He goes, yeah, no, that was freaky. And I go, why are those guys even thinking that they can eat breakfast? And he goes, well, they said they were SAG. Maybe they think SAG is, gives you craft services. And I said, dude, I got no fucking idea. All I know is I'm going to eat my burrito and hide. I'm going to get the fuck away from everybody. He's like, you got to relax. You're supposed to be here. He goes, as long as you're where you're supposed to be, you got nothing to worry about. I'm like, yeah, you don't fucking know me. Trust me, I always have something to worry about. So we finish breakfast and we go back to our trailer. Clearly marked felons, which is how I should have known we were fucking felons. But we walk in and we're just waiting, and then we get called to wardrobe. And we change into our felons costumes. And if you've seen basketball, you know what it looks like. If you don't, it just was like denim. And it was like a blue and yellow color scheme. And I changed into the uniform. This is the first time I'm really in it. I tried it on separately when they were fitting me. But, they had to have my measurements down. So they had to, this is the one that's actually supposed to fit. So they made 3 different costumes for me to make sure that I could fit into it. Because again, giant fat guy. So I go ahead and I throw it on, and it took I think the second pair of shorts worked, and the first shirt worked, but they wanted me to have a looser fit in this one shirt, and then they went back to the tighter fit, whatever. So I'm trying all the clothes on, and I won't lie to you, it's pretty fucking cool, because there's an entire wardrobe department, and they're all business, but they're being really nice to you, because again, on a movie set, everybody's happy to be working on a movie. I've been on these short films, too, where I've gone, I played a bouncer in some fucking... Someone referred me to play a bouncer in a indie film, and I've been on low budget commercials where everybody's under a time constraint, everybody's pressured. Well, I'll tell you what, basketball, this is basketball. This is some fucking knockoff comedy with the guys from South Park and the Zucker Brothers. But the Zucker Brothers had some, credentials, and so they had money, and it showed, man, because everybody was relaxed and everybody was happy, and nobody gave a fuck about how much was being spent. And I'll get to that later. But I mean, it was crazy to me how everybody was so happy and content and excited. Nobody was rushing. Nobody was hurrying. Remember I said hurry up and wait? Well, these people were very happy to hurry up and wait because they knew they were getting paid and they knew that they were doing their job and doing it well. So the wardrobe people were really nice to me, and they, I felt awkward because I'm big and fat and I didn't know what the fuck was going to happen. And but they were cool. They gave me like a looser fit. They gave me a tighter fit. They fixed the shorts. They gave me a third pair of shorts in case the second one didn't work out. I mean, it was really cool to be fussed over. You can really see why people want to get into movies and TV and everybody's like, oh, I want to express myself. I want to do my art. I want to do that. And all of that is very true. It's a calling for a lot of people. But at the same time, it's also a way where you get fucking pampered. Like I know why athletes feel the way they do is because they're constantly getting everything they want. Well, big stars are also getting pampered and getting everything they want, but even smaller level stars or people just involved in the movie. Dude, I was nobody. I was fucking nobody, but wardrobe took the time to fit me 3 different ways and make sure I looked right. And then, they went and the Zuckers had a guy who would come in and go no or yes and look at, what he wanted you to look like. Just to be pampered and fussed over is amazing. I mean, dude, think about your job. If you went into your job and not only did they have a fucking, 4-star lunchroom where you could go and eat, but then they fed you all day long, whatever you wanted, and then they came in to constantly see that you were okay and you had the things that you needed. That's fucking amazing. And it's because on a movie, that kind of environment is conducive to getting good performances. Because the movie is all about performances. It's about the writing and the directing and the performances, obviously, but you want to make sure everybody's in the right frame of mind and in a good mood. You can't fucking hurry somebody. There's a great quote from Bill Murray. I just read it recently, and I don't know the quote, but I saved it. And they asked him why he is the way that he is. And he basically said, you know what, I learned early on that if I could relax as much as possible, that was going to help me do my job and do it in the best possible way. So I try to have as much fun and be as relaxed as I possibly can be because it allows me to give the best performances and be exactly what I'm supposed to be within the confines of this job. And, as I'm learning about myself and discovering things as I go on, I mean, that's a really cool quote. Can I adopt it? I have no idea. I'm still getting mad in fucking Starbucks and losing my fucking mind. I got mad today at a sink. You know what I mean? So fuck, I have no idea. But I'm trying to incorporate that. I'm trying to incorporate my recent happiness into the rest of my life and calm down, man, and not get upset about things and realize that, maybe that's what leads you to be good at what you're supposed to do, being relaxed and confident and knowing that you're good at it. But at the same time, what if the thing you're good at is freaking out at a sink? So I'm trying to fucking fight that battle in my head. Like, honestly, I'm like, dude, you should totally relax, man. It'll be great. And then I sit down to do the show and nobody wants to hear, hey, man, you know what? I'm pretty happy. Things are great. You guys can get me at Mike and Mike Schmidt Comedy. I mean, fuck. I honestly think that there have to be battles for me to fight in order to do the show. But at the same fucking time, maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? I have no idea. Because I've cut way down on the battles. I mean, fuck, dude. I used to jump out of my car and yell at people in fucking traffic. And now I just kind of smile. Hey. I mean, this woman flipped me off in my face the other day. Like, really. And it was my fault because I actually, I kind of cut her off. And then I got over and I rolled my window down to say I was sorry. So I looked right at her and she just fucking flipped me off. And I'm just like, I'm apologizing. I'm sorry. And she flipped me off again. And I go, listen to me. And this is the dumb thing. This is in fucking traffic. We're driving and we're coming up on a stoplight. I have my window down. I'm trying to talk to her. She's not even listening to what I'm saying. She's just automatically flipping me off like 2-3 times. And I'm going, I'm sorry. It was my fault. I'm apologizing to you. But now I'm getting mad because she won't fucking accept my apology. When in reality, I should just shut the fuck up and drive. She's flipped me off 3 times. Guess what? You know what that means? Fuck you, and fuck you. That's what it means. It doesn't mean she wants to have a conversation at 40 miles an hour about how you fucked up. It's not important that I reveal to her that I know I fucked up. I'm sorry. Go ahead and wave. She flips me off and I got to wave again and I got to eat that because I fucked up. God damn it. So that's the thing is I don't know whether I'm supposed to be worked up or not. But it's who I am, but I'm trying to fix who I am because I don't want to be worked up all the fucking time. Whatever. It's fun to get worked up, but then it isn't sometimes. Misery. So, we go to wardrobe, we get fitted. It's fucking amazing. And then the scenes we were shooting there at Cal State Northridge were going to be celebration scenes in the locker room after the Dallas Felons had won a championship. So, and I guess the storyline, if you know the show or you know basketball at all, you know the Felons are they're the bad guys. The Milwaukee Bears never win, and the Dallas Felons are these fucking badasses, and they're essentially the they picked Dallas because fucking Matt and Trey hate the Cowboys because they're Broncos guys. But yeah, so that was the Dallas Felons. So we were going to be in the locker room celebrating our big win. So we get to the locker room, and there's a ton of guys in Dallas Felons uniforms. All right, there's guys there, and then there's media, and it's supposed to be in a locker room. It's going to be a celebration with a champagne shower, and we're all going to be happy and excited, and we're going to be jumping on one another, and it's going to be the best. So I get in there with Matt, and once we arrive, they pull us aside. All the other Dallas people are over in the corner, and then they bring me and Matt over. And also I notice they've got the intense wrestler-looking dude, the bald dude with the soul patch. He's over there talking to the Zuckers. Okay. So I which is kind of surprising to me, but he's also in a Dallas Felons uniform. And I don't recognize the guy, other than he was the intense motherfucker from Breakfast. And I don't know if that fits in the credits. You might have to check. The intense motherfucker from Breakfast. So Matt and I are talking, and the woman's explaining to us what is going to be required of us and what we need to do. There's going to be a locker room celebration, and we're going to be jumping around and going crazy. And then this other guy who's talking to the Zuckers, she says, that's the leader of the Dallas Felons. And she goes, his name's Mark. He'll be over here in a minute, but he's the star of the Felons. He's the main guy. And what's going to happen here is it's going to be a championship, and he's going to be getting interviewed on the podium. After the title, and he's going to say a bunch of cliches. It's going to be, that's the scene. But we want you guys to basically just be celebrating and pointing and acting like you just won another championship. So you kind of like you're smug, but at the same time you're happy. And but she goes, but you kind of smug it up a little bit. So I can do that. Fuck, I can smug anything up if you want me to. So Matt and I are like, yeah, no problem. So we turn around and she goes, stay here. And it was so funny, stay here, because again, it's me and Matt in one spot. There's a bunch of guys dressed like us, like Dallas Felons dudes, and they're off in the corner because you know why? They're extras. They're not Darcy and Grunsky, who are members of the Felons. They're just nondescript Dallas Felon guys in Dallas Felon uniforms. And they're extras, so they're kept in the back, but we're in the front. We're all on the set, but we're in the foreground. We're with the cameras. I mean, like the crew is talking to us. They're being nice to us, and they are completely ignoring the extras because the extras are fucking nobodies. They're off on the side. So we're part of the production. They're part of the set. Honestly, that's all they are. And it's so weird to see that delineation come to life. Especially having done background work on Hoffa and on fucking The Boys in the Band or whatever the fucking other movie I did, where I had to walk in circles over and over. Oh my God, it was terrible. Because you're treated like a fucking dumbass. That's who you are. But when we get there, they're loving us, they're talking to us, they're telling us what the plan's going to be, and Mark's going to go up and talk, and you guys are going to be right there on the podium with him, so you're going to be right in the shot, and we're part of the movie, not part of the background. So Matt and I start talking, and he's like, well, we should do this and we should do that. I go, well, also I'm going to do this, and I have that stupid thing that I do, and I've done it since I was a kid, where I hit myself in the chest, and it makes that really loud noise. I mean, I stole it from the Road Warriors. These wrestlers used to do it all the time, and so I started doing it when I was a kid, and now I still do it. I did it on the set of Malcolm in the Middle, which I think have I talked about that on here? I think I have. And Bryan Cranston goes, what was that? And I said, what? And he goes, when you hit yourself. And I did it again. He goes, oh, you got to do that. You got to keep doing that. That's hysterical. And I'm like, all right. So I was ready to do that. Of course, I'm going to get on the podium and do that because it's going to be a locker room, man. It's going to be a zoo. People are going to be going crazy and yelling and screaming. And so, you got to try to stand out as well. All right. So they're getting us all in position. They're putting us on the podium because Mark is getting interviewed after we've won our second Denslow Cup in a row. It's called the Denslow Cup because that was the guy who invented basketball. Actually, Matt and Trey and Squeak invented it, but Denslow was the billionaire who came to them and had the idea, look, I can't explain the entire plot for you people. Just go watch basketball. And then curse at me afterwards because you didn't think it was funny. Because that happened to me a lot, but I'll get into that later. But now it's stood the test of time, and it's actually very funny, right? Why do I keep saying right? I'm not talking to anyone. I'm talking to you. I guess I'm expecting you to validate. You know what? Do me a favor. Go right or wrong on my page. I'll know exactly what you're talking about. But I'll know it's a different right than the other right. So we're getting put on the podium, and Zucker is behind the camera, and then he sends his AD over, and they tell us, oh, by the way, as they're giving us the scene, they're setting us up. They set all the extras up. They tell us all, by the way, don't make any noise. Now, this is supposed to be a jubilant scene in a locker room, okay? And so I don't know what the hell that even means. Like, don't make any noise, but be jubilant. And what it means is they want us to do business. It's called in acting, they want us to do business, which is when you pretend to be doing something, but you don't make any noise, you don't commit to it, which is ridiculous. I mean, it's the thing I'm worst at. I won't lie to you. When you have to pretend to answer a phone and you have to talk on it, or you have to pretend to drive, you see, like when Elvis would pretend to drive, he would like move his hand on the steering wheel back and forth, and you're like, dude, if you were really driving like that, you would have gone into a fucking guardrail by now. They would have found like a king-sized mess on the side of the fucking road, man. But it happens in Dragnet too when they drive. They fucking move the wheel, and you're like, dude, you shouldn't do that. So it's called business. So what they want us to do is celebrate and high-five and pretend and jump around and point and yell, but not make any sounds while we're doing it, because what they're going to do is they're going to dub all of that in later. The important thing now is they want to be able to hear Mark's interview on the podium. Dirk. Dirk is his felon's name, but we'll call him Mark. So we get up on the podium, they're like, don't make any noise. And Mark is not an actor. I find this out later. We wind up talking to Mark. I'll tell you Mark's story now. Mark's name is Mark Goodson, and he could not have been cooler to us. He was stunned to be in his position. A guy like Matt Sloan, he had made Swing Blade, and he had gotten agents, and he had a writing partner, and he was in the mix on some writing jobs, and wound up getting cast in basketball through some connections that he had. Me, I was a fluke. I told you, I basically Johnny Bravo'd the thing, because I walked into an extras at casting place, and the guy was like, you fit the suit. The Zuckers are looking for a guy like you. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. And when I thought about it, remember I told you, it was really amazing that I would be in the right place at the right time in show business. You hear about it, and it never happens. But I was stunned. I thought my story was great. Dudes, my story is nothing compared to Mark's story. Mark, who wound up being the head of the felons, his name was Dirk Jansen, I believe. Mark was a linebacker at Cal State Northridge. He's telling us this story. I still can't believe this story now. It's fucking 17 years later. But this is the truth. Mark was a football player for Cal State Northridge, and I guess he was a real psycho, like a real intense middle linebacker type of dude. So he's at the school working out on his own, by himself, because he's that guy. And he sees guys measuring the locker room. They're measuring it back, and he has no fucking idea what they're doing, but he's in there getting changed and showered and dressed, and he asks the guys, he's like, hey, what are you guys doing? They go, we're measuring the locker room, we're going to be filming a movie in here. He's like, no way, that's cool. And he doesn't care. He goes back to working out or whatever. So he gets approached by someone on the crew, and he doesn't know who it is. And they're like, hey, have you ever acted before? And he's like, no. And they go, well, we like your look, like a lot. And would you be interested in doing something for this movie? And he was like, well, I mean, I guess so, yeah, sure. Well, he finds out that he's talking later to David Zucker, the fucking director of the movie. And Zucker has him take a screen test that night. And then the next day, he's cast as the head of the Dallas Felons. This dude who's never, I don't know if he's ever watched a movie, let alone been in a fucking movie. He was a linebacker who just happened to be in the locker room working out because he's kind of a psycho. And he's laughing as he's telling us the story. He's like, I can't fucking believe I'm here. It's just astonishing. But sure enough, he was just working out in the locker room. They were measuring it. He asked one question. They liked his look. I thought they liked my look. Dude, they fucking loved his look because they made him a lead guy. Like, he's the head of the felons, and he gets lines. Like, he was cast in the movie. He had to join SAG. He had to do all of this shit because he'd never acted before in his fucking life. So when I say that I got lucky, dude, that's nothing compared to the luck that Mark experienced. Jesus Christ. So they tell us that none of us get to make noise while we're filming the scene, but we still have to pretend like we've just won a championship. And I'm fucking awful at, like, literally imagine yourself, just try it now. I'm serious. Try to be like, yeah, woo, haha, all right, man, we fucking won. Now do all that without saying any of it. And pointing, and look, you look like a fucking maniac. It's ridiculous. It's the dumbest thing, and it feels stupid. And it's one of the things about acting that makes me feel dumb when I'm like, I understand, what was it? There was an acting teacher I had once, Carrie Idell, I think. And he said, living truthfully in imaginary circumstances. That's what acting is. He said it's a 5-word philosophy. Living truthfully in or under imaginary circumstances. And so I've always felt that, and I've always thought it, and I've thought, all right, well, that makes sense. But dude, there's nothing truthful about pretending to yell. There's nothing truthful about pointing and fake high-fiving and dancing. That's not, I mean, I guess it's really hard, because believe me, that is imaginary circumstances, certainly, but the living truthfully part doesn't come in. That's the acting part. That's where you're actually doing lines and scenes and emoting and trying to bring a character to life. Well, dude, all I'm trying to do is pretend like I won something, but I can't pretend loudly. It's fucking weird. It's like you're telling a little kid, hey man, go crazy, happy birthday, but don't say anything. And it's a whole locker room that has to do it. So I'm ready for it. I mean, I'll see what happens. And so they get us lined up, and Mark's going to get interviewed, and they're like, action. And so we all start acting, quote unquote, like kind of jumping around. Like I grab fucking Sloan by his shirt and I shake him and I point him in his face and I start pointing at other guys, and I'm smugging it up is what I'm doing. I'm looking out at the crowd like with this smug face, like, yeah, of course we fucking won. Why wouldn't we fucking win? I'm less happy than I am smug. And I'm pointing at guys, just like, I chose to be that guy. That was my living truthfully. I was the smug dick because we had just won a second title in a row, and I was going to celebrate it rather than go crazy and hug. Because again, it's our second title. You got to be smug. And we're dicks. So, I got my arm around Sloan's neck. I grab him by the shirt and I point in his face, and I'm pointing at the extras and stuff, and we're kind of fake high-fiving, and Mark's getting interviewed. And Mark had a hat on for the interview. And then Zucker's like, cut. So we do the scene a couple more times. And he just, basically it was a rehearsal. He was filming the rehearsal, but I found out it was a rehearsal because they go, okay, now we need Mark over here. So they call Mark over to talk to him. And he goes back to the podium. And then Zucker calls the AD over and talks to them. And they come over to me, and Zucker comes over to me. He's like, all right, here's what we need you to do. He goes, this is a sight gag. So you're right next to Mark, and you're going to be talking. And when he says that he respects the beers, you have to take off his hat. Like right when he says it. And the reason being is because he had "fuck the beers" painted on the side of his head. So that was the joke. He gives this real self-deprecating speech about how they respect their opponent. And you know what? I really respect the beers a lot. And then the hat comes off and it says "fuck the beers." That's the joke. So he says to me, I want you next to him, and I want you there while he's getting interviewed. You're still celebrating and stuff, but you listen. You're listening to his interview, and then you turn around, and right when he says that, you really have to nail it. You have to take the hat off right when he says it. You can't do it before because it blows the joke, and you can't do it too long after because who cares? He goes, you have to, right when he finishes saying it, you got to take the hat off. And he spelled it out very specifically what he wanted. So I'm like, cool, I can do that. He goes, you sure? And I go, yeah, absolutely. So he goes back behind the camera. He goes, all right, now this one is for real. And he goes, remember Grunsky, when this happens, we do the hat. So, all right, and action. So now I'm caught up in the pretending. I hear action, and I'm just waiting. I'm cheating to listen to Mark, but I'm still pointing at Sloan, and I'm still fucking putting my arms around him, and I'm smugging it up, and I'm pointing at the crowd. I'm fake high-fiving guys, and I'm right behind Mark, and I hear him start to go into his line, and I'm like, all right, I got to go ahead and grab that hat, and I reach over, and just as he says it, I take the hat off before he finishes the punchline. Because I'm trying to time it. I'm trying to get his cadence down as well as go ahead and take the hat off. Cut! So we cut, and he comes over, and I'm miserable because I know I fucked it up. He goes, all right, we'll call that a rehearsal. He goes, but it's very important that you hit it right when he says that sentence. I said, I totally understand. I got it. He goes, you sure? And I said, yeah, I got it. And he goes, all right, so stand there next to Mark. We're going to do it again, and we're going to go on action. And then once he says his line, take his hat off, and then you don't react to the obviously that's, and because I know comedy, so I know I don't react and go, oh, fuck the beers. I just take the hat off and I keep celebrating. I know that. So he walks away and goes back to the camera, and I got to tell you, I got nervous. Like, I hadn't been nervous up to that point, but I was weirded out about doing business anyway. Like, I think I look stupid fake cheering and fake high-fiving, and that's dumb. You have to eliminate that from your vocabulary. There is no such fucking thing as stupid. You do what you're told and you make it work. And that's the thing that's hurt me, is I've always worried about how I've looked. How do you look? Like, when I was fat, I was like, oh, Jesus. It's that thing I've had. It's psychological. That thing where you make a joke right away so nobody else gets to make that joke, where you stay ahead of the curve. I made fun of me first so you don't get to. So I've got that in me, and I always have. So I started to get nervous because, again, I think, as I've mentioned many times, I don't want to fuck things up. I'm there on a fluke. Certainly not the fluke Mark made it on, but I'm there on a fluke. And so I need to hit the post on these jokes. I'm being trusted. And all of that starts to build up in my head. Well, in addition to that, I'm trying to fucking fake high-five guys and grab Sloan and do all this nonsense. So sure enough, I hear Mark go into his line, and he's just about to, and just when he's in the middle of his line, I don't even know, I can't even explain why I did it with my body. But with my body, I reached over and I put my hand on his arm, and then he said the line, and I went and I reached up to take the hat, and I kind of bumped him, and I did it like it wasn't clean at all. It wasn't clean at all. First of all, I anticipated it by putting my arm on his shoulder, and so they knew that was going to be bad, but then they wanted to see if I'd hit, and then he said the line, and I fucking yanked it off, but I still missed the cue, and cut! And everybody stops, and Zucker walks over, and I'm on the podium, and I'm standing there, and I know, and I give Mark back the hat, and Zucker comes over and he goes, can you do this? I said, I can. He goes, all right, if you can do it, do it. I said, I will. And he goes, okay. And I look over, and Mike Siegel, the guy who had cast me, gives me a face like, don't worry about this, just fucking do it. And Sloan looks at me, and he's like, you okay? And I go, yeah, I'm good. And then it's like, all right, so places, everybody gets back, back to one, everybody gets back in their spots, all the extras, we're on the podium, Mark's there to get interviewed, and I'm waiting, and now, I won't lie, I felt like I wanted to throw up, because I have that shame thing where I'm like, dude, you fucked this up, you fucked it up again, you're done, you're going to kick you the fuck out of here, you're never going to come back, it's going to be fucking terrible, you're just going to be gone, you're going to be gone. So I'm on the podium, I'm waiting to do my fake business, I'm waiting for action. Because I am ready for fucking action at this point. I mean, I am going to nail it. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to crush it. It's not even going to be an issue. So I'm there, and I'm waiting, and fucking, I'm there with Sloan/Darcy, and he looks at me like, yeah, dude, you got this. And I look out, Mike Siegel's like, you got this. And so, action! And we start fake high-fiving, and I grab fucking Sloan even harder by his shirt, and I'm shaking him, and I look at him, and I point at him, and I'm listening to Mark, and it's silent, and we're all still celebrating. It's almost like, yeah. I mean, it's that kind of weirdness. Everybody's celebrating and kind of dancing around and pointing, and there's supposed to be champagne, and everybody's going crazy, and we're pouring it on one another, and fucking, I hear Mark start to go into his line, and I know I'm going to nail it. I know I've got it this time. I know exactly what he's going to say, and Mark goes ahead, and he starts to say his line, and just when he gets near the end of his line, I yank the hat off. I yank the fucking hat off. I don't let him finish. I don't let him fucking finish. I reach over, and I yank the hat off because I'm nervous. I don't know what the fuck it was. My body just did it again, like where I put my arm on his shoulder. I reached over, and I yanked the hat off just before he said we respect the team. Like, this is the worst one. The first two were at least fucking close. The third one, I wasn't even close. I missed it by a second, which is, in comedy, everything. Fucking everything. Timing is everything. Timing is everything. Steve Martin. So fucking, I fuck it up again. Third time I fuck it up. Cut! God damn it. And I actually wanted to scream. I was like so fucking mad. I was mortified. And I'm just sitting there, and Zucker walks up, and he goes, who else can do this? And I honestly, I think they made Matt do it. I don't remember. Because all I know is I was gone. I went away in my head where I was like, I'm getting called up because I ruined 3 takes of a major motion picture because I couldn't get a joke right. Me. I couldn't get a fucking joke right. I ruined 3 takes, 3 things of film. They cast me in a fluke. Dudes, you know who I was at that point? I was the guy sneaking into craft services. Because if you're on a Zucker film and you can't get a joke right in 3 fucking takes, you don't belong there. And that's what went through my head. You don't belong here. You don't belong here. All those fucking old things that I have in my brain where it's like, dude, you're not good enough. You're not supposed to be here. Why the fuck are you here? Wait till they find out. You're not supposed to fucking be here, man. And I fucking validated that by blowing it for the 3rd time. So Zucker comes over and he's like, who else can do this? Who can do this? He's pissed. The AD won't even talk. She's looking away. Siegel won't even look at me. And I believe they made Matt do it. I don't remember. All I know is he told me to get off the podium. He goes, you get down. They made me get off the podium. And I went back where the extras were. Because that was, to me, the worst fucking place you could be. In my opinion, that's where I belonged. Because I couldn't get the joke right, so obviously I was nobody. I was just a fucking background player. If I couldn't get it right, why the fuck was I even on the set? I wanted to walk out. I wanted to walk right to my car and leave. I was embarrassed, I was mortified, and I was fucking furious. I was angry at myself. Because this was, it's so funny. There's these things where you go, this is my big chance. It wasn't my big chance to break through in a show business, but if I nail that fucking joke, maybe they rely on me the entire time for jokes. But now that I've proven I can't do a joke, they're never going to use me again in any crucial situation. And I know this. Because she told me. And Mike Siegel told me they're just going to be doing jokes on the fly and they will grab whoever they think is good for it. Well, I've already proven now with my first assignment I'm not good for fucking anything except fucking up a joke 3 times. So I get off the podium and I go to the back. And they're kind of huddling like Zucker's talking to people and they're figuring stuff out. And I'm in the back by the extras. And the extras are talking to me and they're kind of like, hey, don't worry about it. But I mean, fuck you extras. I don't want a chair talking to me. And I'm inconsolable at that point. I won't lie. I'm basically, I'm furious at myself. I'm not mad at anybody else but me. So I go in the back and I realize that I've screwed up my first chance, which means I'm never going to get another chance. And I punch myself as hard as I can in the face. I mean, I just fucking wailed on myself. And a couple of the extras saw it and they like walked away because they knew. And here's the thing, I was miserable and I was angry at myself, and so because I didn't want to scream or yell or cause a huge scene, so I went away. I was far away from everybody except for the extras, and then I punched myself again as hard as I could in the face. 2 shots, right cheekbone, and finally, one of the extras walks over to me and goes, it's okay. Are you all right? I go, I'm fine. Obviously, I wasn't fine. And I've done that since, and I shouldn't. It's not smart or cool or fun. But it's, it's a way to punish yourself and get out all your frustrations on the object of those frustrations. And I'm not a cutter, and I don't do it all the fucking time. But I mean, I've done it. But I did it then because I was furious at myself, miserable, couldn't believe I had blown my huge chance, and the only person to blame was myself. So I punched myself twice, and I'm in the back by the extras, and then the AD, after a few minutes, comes to get me and says, "Hey, we need you." And I said, "Why?" And she goes, "We need you back up on the podium." I said, am I doing the hat thing? They go, no, we've got, I think it was Matt. We got someone else. But for continuity, you need to be up there and you're part of the championship team. And I said, oh. I said, so I'm still Grunsky? Because literally, I thought I was fired. I thought I was getting sent home. And she just goes, of course. Come on. And I walked with her and went right back on the podium to where I was. All they did was switch places with me and somebody else, and And then that person executed the joke perfectly. And I was still miserable because I didn't know if it was my last day. I was miserable because I didn't know what they were going to do. Because again, I fucked the joke up and I knew they weren't going to use me again. But at least she had come and pulled me out of a pit of despair and told me I was still Grunsky. And, we filmed the rest of the day. And at the end of it, we were leaving. And Matt's like, hey, did you get your call time for tomorrow? And I said, no. And he goes, oh, okay. Well, cool. Nice seeing you. And, he gave me his number and we talked. And I was like, oh, man, if he got a call time and I didn't, that's pretty obvious. So I just went to wardrobe and I changed out. And they were all very nice. Everybody was really cool. And I went to sign out when I was leaving. And the assistant director was there, and or whoever, the liaison, whoever she was. And she said, hey, don't worry about it. And I said, I'm okay. She goes, well, no. She goes, it just happens. Don't worry about it. I go, I won't. And I said, just sign out here. She said, yeah. And I left, and I was walking out to go to my car and leave what I thought was my final shot on a movie set. Ridiculous, I know, but that was what I thought. And she called me and she goes, Mike! And I turn around and she goes, come here. And I went back and she goes, well, why didn't you take this? And it was the slip for the next day's call times. It was the call sheet. And I said, oh, I don't know. I didn't know if I was coming back. And she goes, of course you're coming back. You're Grunsky. And she handed me the call sheet. And I looked at it, and I had a call time for 8 a.m. the next day. She said, see you at breakfast. And walked away. And I walked to my car, still furious, still angry, still upset that I couldn't execute the one thing I was fucking there to do, a joke. So I was torn because I knew, and I was overjoyed, and I was excited that the next day I was going to get another chance to be Grunsky. But I also knew that the next day I was still going to have to be Mike. You guys can get me at mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40year-old-boy. You can find me at Twitter.com/the40year-old-boy. Find me there and follow me there. Why wouldn't you follow me if you find me? Don't just find me. Our friend David Mex Hernandez does all of the music and artwork for this show. You can find him at Facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez and be his friend. And you can go to artbydmh.com and check out all of his artwork that he has there. Again, he's putting together his new portfolio for the year. He's going to be doing some really cool stuff. If you go to his website at artbydmh, artbydmh.com, you can get some custom stuff from him, or you can check out the stuff that he already has available and for sale. But I'll tell you what, I cannot strongly endorse David Hernandez more than I already do. He is a Renaissance man. He is my great friend, and he does all of the music and artwork for this show whenever he's asked. Whenever I need him, the man is there. He is my consigliere. He is my Tom Hagen, and he will be forever. So please support my friend David Hernandez at Facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez and go to artbydmh.com, artbydmh.com, and buy paintings, get commissioned stuff, do all that neat stuff, and he will take care of it because he's the best. He works in oils and watercolors. He also works in oil colors, and he works in water oil. Water oils, I think. He's pioneering some great work in water oils. Hire him. Lily Von Stupp is the producer of this show, and may be with us next week, I hope, certainly, in the oldest building in Hollywood, unless she has, like I said, packed up the moving vans and snuck out under cover of the night. You will be able to find her at facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp and be her friend. You can follow her at several different Twitter accounts several different, I had trouble saying that, several different Twitter accounts, many different Twitter accounts. Several made that hard. You can follow her at twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp, twitter.com/MNTs, and twitter.com/HollywoodBQFest. Or, if you'd like to write her a personal note, and ask her what the weather is like in Indianapolis, you can go ahead and get her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
After all the jacks on their boxes and the clowns have all gone to bed, you can hear happiness staggering on down the street. Footprints dressed in red, and the wind whispers Mary. A broom is drearily sweeping up the broken pieces of yesterday's life. Somewhere a queen is weeping. Somewhere a king has no wife. And the wind cries Mary. The traffic lights say turn blue tomorrow, and shining emptiness down on my bed. The tiny island sags downstream, 'cause the life to live is dead. And the wind screams Mary. Will the wind ever remember the names it has blown in the past? With its crutch, its old age, and its wisdom, it whispers no, this will be the last. And the wind cries Mary.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 Clubs on Vine at Santa Monica. Last week was Meat Fest. It was a tremendous triumph. By last week, I mean a couple of days ago. It was a huge triumph from what I hear. I hear the scuttlebutt. I hear the people are talking at all the Meat Fest forums and all the Meat Fest coffee clutches that I've attended. Look, I go to a lot of coffee clutches about Meat Fests. That's how I like to do it. Whenever there's meat being discussed, I am there. And whether it qualifies as a fest or not, it could just be a meat conference. It could be a meat powwow. I'm there for damn sake. Why did I say damn sake? I was going to say for fuck's sake or God's sake, and I went damn because I can say goddamn. Well, you don't care how my brain works. I happen to know the producer of the Monday Night Tease show. She is a miracle of modern science, ambulatory and upright after a tremendous life that she's lived, and she is our great friend Lily Von Stupp. Hi, Lily. Still nothing. All right. Hi, Lily. Okay, good to hear from you. What if I did that from now on? And that'll tell you why I'm recording this show, because it's ridiculous. Lily is in charge of the Monday Night Tease. It was just her birthday. If you've not wished her a happy birthday on Facebook, I hope you will. Please go and do such a thing. But she had Meat Fest. She had her birthday. She's got the Dirty Birdie Story Hour. She's got all of these amazing shows. Dr. Sketchy's figure drawing class. All of these amazing things. She's got tons of irons in that fire, to quote and paraphrase my friend David Lee Roth. So go to Facebook.com/Monday Night Tease and become a friend, and you will get join that page anyway. I don't know if you're a friend, but if you join that page, you get all of the updates about other Monday Night Teases that are coming down the pike. And you will find out, and you'll also be able to see pictures of previous performers, like the lady in a wash tub from 2 weeks ago, and a lot of guys with their meat hanging out this week. Those pictures are available at Facebook.com/Monday Night Tease. You can go to brownpapertickets.com and put in Lily Von Stupp, or you can put in Monday Night Tease, and you will find all of the tickets for all of her events, and buy them all, scarf them up, go out and see the shows, man, at the 3 clubs on Vine at Santa Monica. Lily's doing a bang-up job, a tremendous job, and hopefully I'll be able to tell her that in person next week. I don't know if I will. We don't know. Again, maybe, like I said, she may have absconded and snuck off into the night. Let's talk about next week for just a second. There will be more basketball talk next week. I got to talking today, and I wanted to tell the story of the first day of shooting because it was such a big deal to me. And I genuinely thought I was going to be fired, but I was not. And there's more to tell, so there's a lot more. I will go into it next week. Again, I've done that many times where I've alluded to things and then not discussed them. Well, now let's discuss them in length. Let's talk about basketball for a long fucking time, and hopefully next week nothing happens to my sink, so I can go ahead and cover basketball at length. Not that I'm going to just jump into it. I'm sure some fucking dumb shit will happen, but still. There will be more basketball talk next week. Please remember our friend Ryan Dirks. You can be his friend. He's our web guy. If you go to Facebook.com/Ryan Dirks, or just look up Ryan Dirks on Facebook, DIRKS, Beef Farmer Ryan's friend on Facebook. And I'm going to do this again off the top of my head because, again, doing this on my phone, I can't look at what I have in my notes or in my mail. I believe it's Ryan Dirks at littlepeople.com. Why would he be at Little People? That doesn't make any sense. He's not short. He's a farmer, not a midget. Oh my God, imagine being a midget farmer. When they say the corn is as high as an elephant's eye, well, that's like fucking 3 times your size, bud. Well, if you're a midget, why are you raising corn in the first fucking place? You knew. The song told you it's as high as an elephant's eye. You can't possibly reach it. Oh my God, I was just attacked. All right, I wasn't. Thanks, Lily. So we are looking at Ryan Dirks as our friend, be his friend. He does all of my web stuff, and he does it really cool, so thank you. And again, like I've mentioned, Dave, you can go and check out Dave's cool stuff there. Let's talk about Joe Business. If you go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, there's all sorts of pages on there for you to check out. But let's go to the Joe Business page. That's a cool page to go to because we have, of course, shirts available. I think I don't know if I've changed the prices. I've been busy, folks. I've been a very busy man, so I have not changed the prices from December. You can go and check. Let's put it this way. I'm going to change them in the next couple days. If you get in under the wire and grab one, go ahead. But if you don't, that's fine too. I will honor that. And anybody who I bought them, thank you. And do me a favor, contact me and let me know they arrived because I had to send them to fucking Germany and all sorts of the places. So I want to know that they arrived. Tell me, send me an email or write it on my Facebook wall or however you contact me. That would be great. So the Yurt Dirt shirt is available. Go ahead and pick that up. Year 1, Year 2, Year 3, Year 4, Year 5, and Year 6 available for this podcast as one big set. You can get them individually as well, but you can get them as the Reservoir Schmidt Dogs box set, like many of our friends have in the past. So go ahead and check that out and get my past and make it your future. We've got downloads. We've got tweakedaudio.com. They're our friends. You can go ahead and get their stuff and buy through them, and then we get helped. You can donate to the show. You can donate individually, or you can donate one month at a time. You can subscribe for $2 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, or $25 a month. Which is always cool. Thank you so much for helping out the show. We do appreciate it. And again, the Schmidt Alive 2 package is available as a download. It's audio and video of me at the 2014 Los Angeles Podcast Festival. So go ahead and check that out. Buy it. It's $10, and it's me on video and me on audio, and it's me. I hadn't been on stage for a year before that performance, and now go look at it and marvel at that. Go, Jesus Christ, this guy's amazing. He hadn't been on stage for a year, and he was this good. Imagine if I was doing it every week like I'm supposed to, like a grown-up. But I'm not, because I'm a dick. I'd prefer to sit in my house and wait for my sink to explode. But I will. It's coming up, I'm sure, I keep saying. Also, we have artwork available on the website. Hey, Martin, you ordered artwork. Again, like I said, it's a process. I will get it to you, I promise. But anybody who orders artwork, and it's so silly to say that, it's a process, but I will get you the artwork. It's really cool stuff to have, so if you want it, order it, and then it'll be autographed by me and Lily and David, and we'll square it away for you. Thank you. We appreciate it very much. And then also our Amazon link is there on the page. If you click through our Amazon link, you'll get to our store, and then you'll get to the other, up in the upper left-hand corner, that gets you to regular Amazon, and then anything you buy, we get credit for, and it helps the show, which would be cool. So if you can change your Amazon links at work or use your Amazon link wherever you happen to be, that would be fantastic. So buy your Amazon stuff through, and then send me a note. It's been a while since somebody sent me a note. If I've missed your note, tell me. I get a lot of correspondence that I choose to, I look at, and then unfortunately more correspondence comes in, and maybe I lose it. So if you've sent me something and I haven't talked about your Amazon purchases, please do, and I will be happy to do it. But right now, buy something through Amazon and let me know, and then I'll talk about you as well. Fuck, I'm talking about all you guys. So that's what's going on at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. And again, like I mentioned, there's the Monday Night Teas, there's ArtByDMH.com, there's Ryan Dirks at IamAMidgetFarmer.com. Go ahead and check out all of those things. They're fantastic. And yeah, so next week there'll be more basketball talk, and hopefully I'm going to be at Lily's place, I think. And also, let's put it this way, I hope the show's up because I'm sending her these chunks. It's got to be rough for her, right? She keeps getting chunks of me in the email, and that doesn't sound nice at all. I'm going to go ahead and stop talking right now because that just sounded silly. But the way I look at it, I was just sending her little birthday gifts with a little bow on it, electronic bow on it. She's going ahead and put it together, and because why not, right? Why should she live her life and have fun when she's got me tied around her fucking ankle like a huge bowling ball and she's going to drag me all over the fucking place, right?
Literally, this show starts as a tiny snowball, and at the end, the hundreds are dead at the bottom of a ravine. I mean, I get that. Believe me, if there's any show in the history of the world that does not need to be transcribed for posterity, it's this one. I like when nobody can see the seams. I like when I'm able to kind of just, fly with the bees wherever. When I have to actually stop the bees and ask for directions, that's not fun. I just like unleashing the bees, but when the bees have to stop in mid-flight and we all have to kind of look at each other and bust out a fucking map, that's not fun at all. I want to saddle up these bees and ride, goddammit! I'm done.